Describe the Granite Zero podcast in 3 words. Fuck, that is a tricky one. I've got 3 days, if you like. Gritty. Powerful. And real.
Charlie 1, this is Granite 0. Charlie 1, this is Granite 0.
I felt like shit. I had all these emotions, all these thoughts, all these feelings that were stuck in my head for so long, and I didn't know what to do. And for me, it was a struggle daily. Short temper, screaming and shouting at my kids. You know, it's something that I couldn't keep doing. And on the 2nd of March 2019, I was curled up in a ball on the floor of my kitchen, crying my eyes out. And it was at that moment that I thought I had to get something done. I sought help as much as I could at that point. And on the 4th of March 2019 is when I started the Granite Zero podcast. And from there, it grew and grew and grew, and it helped me no end. It really did. You know, going to the doctors, discovering that I did have PTSD, I did have anxiety, and I do have depression. You know, all those things, you know, were mounting up and mounting up. And I was taking things like CBD oil to help calm my anxiety. I was trying my hardest to self-medicate. And at that point, you know, I sat down with the missus and we said, look, you need to get on some sort of antidepressants to balance yourself out. And I was like, I don't want to do pills. I don't want to. But it was something that I had to do, and I had to take that big step, that giant leap to help do it. And each day now is a new day, and each day I'm a little bit better for it. And I'm feeling positive, I'm feeling good about myself, you know. But living day to day with depression, PTSD and anxiety, you know, it really truly is draining. And having all these negative thoughts that you have to try and kick out of your head is hard fucking work. But, you know, with the help of family, friends, loved ones, guests of the show, you know, I'm going to get through it. I'm going to get through it. Don't you worry. You know, living with mental health issues, you know, is one thing. You know, I'm in it now. I'm in the zone of mental fitness instead, making myself mentally fit to carry on to the next phase.
Tommo's a bit behind the curtain. You know what I mean? He does a lot, and a lot of people don't know how much he actually does, and it goes unrecognised. He's doing courses, he's doing this, he's doing that, but what he does is he does what I do times by 10, and he talks about his problems, and he talks to people about their problems, and he gets stuff out there that is never talked about. And there's a lot of people out there that are doing a lot of good things, and there's a lot of people taking a lot of different avenues, doing a lot of different ways of doing stuff. to do mental health and stuff like that. But Tommo, he's one man in his shed doing a podcast with a microphone, a set of headphones, and he's just cracking on. And he can't thank him enough for everything he's done for me and the work that he's doing for everyone else. So good effort, lads. Keep going.
I used to be scared. I used to be petrified, in fact, that people would see me as weak. People would see me as a bit of a flake. People would define me by my mental health issues that I have. So I used to keep it inside, and for the past 6 years, maybe even longer, I have kept everything inside, and it was though I had my own fucking mental battle within myself, and it was always a struggle, you know, to talk about. And the reason for that was I didn't know myself. I had already made up my mind, my decision that I could not have PTSD, I could not have depression, and I definitely don't have anxiety, because simply because I was a soldier. I went to war. But the truth is, I went to war and I came back and there was still a fight going on, but that was inside me. And that fight then escalated and started affecting the people closest to me. From my wife, my kids, the rest of my family, my friends, I wasn't the same Sean, I wasn't the same Tommo, I wasn't the same person. I was short, snappy, angry, irritable, you know, the list goes on and on and on. Day after day after day, the missus would tell me, go and see someone, go and speak to someone, do something. And I'd dig my heels in and say, no, I don't have a problem, I'm fine. I'm fine. In reality, I wasn't. You know, I talk about the main pertinent day over and over and over again. Had an argument with the missus, we were falling out. I was very distant, I was pushing away, she went to work and I broke down. I was in tears on the floor of my kitchen. And my eldest daughter came downstairs, put her forehead against mine, wiped my tears away and looked me in the eyes and said, Daddy, it's okay. It's gonna be fine. We love you. And I talk about that time over and over and over and over and over again, especially on the podcast, because it's very pertinent to me that my own daughter recognised my pain, my suffering within myself. Before I really knew what to do. But the truth is, it started way before that. I'd be at work, I'd be driving around, I would park up on my own and break down and cry for no reason other than I thought I was a disgrace. I thought I was an embarrassment. I thought I had nothing to offer. I was nothing. These negative thoughts and feelings would haunt me day in and day out, to the point where I would be just broken and crying. And because I'm a strong, fighting male, I can't show my family that, so I'd have to put on this brave face every time I got home and literally say, I'm fine. Until the point where I wasn't, and my daughters saw it firsthand, something that I tried to hide from them forever. But it's recently that I've discovered that it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to show emotion. It's okay to sit there and talk to the ones you love and say, I'm not okay right now. Yeah, sometimes I have not taken my own advice and just simply went on a downward spiral, not taking my antidepressants, not doing that sort of thing. You know, in my mind, I hate being reliant on little tablets to balance me out, but still, I need them. It's not big and strong to stay silent anymore. The stigma behind it, the stigma behind because I was in the military that I shouldn't talk about the things that I saw and did, is wrong. And the stigma behind why people ridicule others because they didn't do what they did in the military or the police service is wrong, because everybody's mind is unique. Everybody's perception of traumatic events are differently, and the way that you process them is all different. And that's why I'm so passionate about my podcast. That's why I'm so passionate about helping people. That's why I'm passionate to sit down in front of you guys now and let it out and show you guys that it's fine, because it is. I may be a beacon of hope to certain people coming through. They can listen to the podcast. But just know that I know exactly how you're feeling. The draining sensation of being negative and down about yourself constantly is a fight, is a battle that really wears you out. I understand. So in January 2008, I embarked on a life-changing journey when I joined the RAF regiment. For me, I was always going to be a lifer. I was going to be in for the 22 years plus. But things change. Time changes. You know, I did 3 tours of duty in that time. I went to Iraq, to the Basra Air Base. I went to Kandahar Air Base in Afghanistan. And then I went to Camp Bastion on my final tour. You know, and to this day, and will always be, the best job I've ever had, the most pride I've ever had. And I'll always be proud of the fact that I served 3 tours of duty for my country. But the thing is, that's where my depression came into place. Not so much the PTSD, because of course that took its toll without me really realizing. It only took therapy that got me into that. But the depression itself came from the lack of self-pride, self-worth. I was very upset in the fact that I didn't have a role. I wasn't Tommo the gunner. I was never gonna have that again. People ask me what job I did. I did this, I did that. Where before it was, what job do you do? Oh, I've just got back from Iraq. I've just got back from Afghanistan. And people wanted to know more. Now it's, oh, I'm a security officer. Oh, brilliant. Cheers for that. But, you know, when it comes down to it, on the 11th of November, for example, remembrance parades, getting to put my medals on was just amazing for me. Having my daughters there, looking at the pride in their faces, seeing Daddy wearing these medals, and it, you know, usually you look at veterans and you think they're fucking the old boys, but that's not the case, mate. It's cool to be a veteran now. Look at all the veteran companies we got, and you know, going to Iraq, going to Afghanistan, seeing the things that I saw, doing the things that I did, I will never forget. But now I'm on a new journey, on a new path, and that is the Granite Zero podcast. And I'm so proud of the podcast itself and how we are now becoming bigger and better and greater. And it's a fucking journey that I'm loving. And there is another thing for you as well. It's like, I can't remember if I said it or if it's a quote, but either way, it's pretty fucking epic. But it's like, amongst all the chaos, I've never been so peaceful. It's like,
yeah.
each and every day you would go out, and in the possibility that you could like get injured or never come home. But you get these moments during all those periods where it's completely silent. Even when it's like you're on stag, everybody else will be asleep. There'll only be two of you up. One of you will walk around for a bit, deadly silent. You can't hear anything. You can hear the crickets maybe, mosquitoes flying about, but the stars are fucking out, completely quiet. And you're like, how is this a war zone? How am I in a war zone right now? This is the most at peace I've ever been with that. Talking about tribes and friends that you have for life. So a lot of my close buddies, we went through basic training together. So a lot of us did the 29 weeks basic training. Then we went on to a thing called Field Gunners together, which is the next, I think, 6 weeks worth of infantry training. And then the majority of us then went to the same field squadron, which was 15 Squadron. During that period, we were then another 6 months worth of pre-deployment training. Then we did 4.5-5 months on tour. Then we'd come back. You'd have a couple of weeks away with the missus and what have you. Then we'd ramp up again, 6 months back into pre-deployment. And people say, like, we're all from all walks of life. There's a lot of the friends that I have now, I probably wouldn't have had those friends if I was still back home in Hereford. Because then when you first meet them, they're not your type of person. But the fact that you spend day in, day out for 29 weeks to start with, followed by another 6 weeks, followed by 6 months, followed by another 4 months of deployment. You're literally at points. I remember being on top of a armored vehicle, looking up at the stars with my best mate Nick in Iraq, literally for hours and hours and hours. We were just talking and talking. It's like, I know Nick, my best mate, better than his wife knows him, and he knows me better than my wife knows me. And they're like, how it's crazy that you guys seem to know each other so well. It's not. I spent 12 hours looking at a tree. What do you think we're going to talk about? We've got a recording day, which is one of the days that fucking fills me with fucking joy. I'm not going to lie. What a lot of people don't realise is I'm a bit of an introvert, so I have to psych myself up, get ready to go into the what I call the shedio, which is just there behind me. We go in and I set up and get ready to record. You know, I do get that anxious, sort of excited feeling in the belly when it's time to record, but it's something that I love to do now, and it's like the highlight of my week. If I've got 2, then even better. You know what I mean? But this is where the magic happens. In the shedio. Getting ready to record. Like I said, recording day, the best days. So yeah, enjoy.
Podcast. I was pretty nervous, but within 5-10 minutes, Tommo made me feel so comfortable, and we ended up laughing and joking, as well as touching on some serious subjects. You can't fault Tom and his enthusiasm and his desire to get out certain messages. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it, and I'd do it again.
So the Granite Zero podcast didn't actually start in the shedio. It started in a work vehicle. You know, I was having a really shit down day, and I just hit record after speaking to Darren. And it was only a couple of weeks afterwards where I was like, yeah, I could do this in the shedio, as I now call it, which is my shed/studio. And I used to sit there and just talk to myself on my own about the thoughts and feelings and other issues that were going on within the world, within myself. And as soon as I hit record on those days, you know, I felt fucking brilliant. I felt like a release, like someone had just turned the tap on a little bit, just to release a little bit of air. Like, tss, and it's like, it all comes out. It's fucking brilliant. And then I decided, yeah, I'm gonna throw out some fucking DMs. I'm gonna throw out some emails. I'm gonna throw out some messages and get some guests on. It started off with Little Brown himself, Darren Thompson, my brother, my best friend. You know, the guy that's helped me through so much. And then the guests just went on and on and on and on, from UFC fighters to world-class athletes to war heroes, triple amputees, double amputees, people that have starred in the Invictus Games, people that have directed TV shows, even people that have been on the shows such as SAS Who Dares Wins, BAFTA-nominated directors, UFC future Hall of Famers. And I get these guys on and we just literally talk about this and that, anything and everything. It could be the subject matter in hand, whether it could be someone that's got an up-and-coming fight. It could just be me and Darren talking absolute trash for 45 minutes to an hour. It could be a Brazilian jiu-jitsu expert, fucking police officer. It could be just matey boy down the road. It could be a best mate. It could be anyone. But the point is that it helps release all these thoughts, feelings, and all that inside. And that is why I started the podcast, just to get it out and to feel so much better about myself and just to be happy and positive.
I'm Adam Dorito, co-host of the new podcast dropping in 2021, Dark Saber. I would just personally like to thank the Granite Zero podcast team there in Tommo for helping me spread my story from the United States after listening to my first story on Andy Stump's podcast, Cleared Hot, number 137. Without their support, I wouldn't have been able to get as many people involved in this new project against sexual assault and corruption in the U.S. military here on the other side of the pond, so to speak. The Granite Zero podcast gave me that opportunity, and I truly want to thank you. Please feel free to give them a follow, support their company, support their cause on mental health and spreading awareness, and how we can support the veteran community amongst ourselves. Also, feel free to follow me on Instagram, Adam Dorito, and our co-company, Honor Hill Tactical, to help spread these important messages within our military about mental health and veteran support. Once again, please support the Granite Zero podcast for all that they do, for they're doing amazing things.
I'm passionate about it. And I'm passionate about this podcast. I'm passionate about the endless opportunities that I could have doing it. And I've been asked a number of times by my kids, by other kids, by friends, by family members, am I doing it to become famous? No, I'm not. For me, fame is nothing. I don't want fame. Do I want people to appreciate what I'm doing? Do I want people to understand why I'm doing it? Yes, definitely. Do I give a fuck if I've got one listener? or if I've got fucking 842 followers. Do I have 50 fucking 4 subscribers? No, I don't give a fuck about that. As long as I'm helping one person, then I'll be happy. And it's not only the fact that I'm helping people. No, of course not. I'm helping this person. Me. I'm the one that I care about most in this project. Because that's what this is. This is my journal. This is my journey. This is why I started it. It's not for fucking Johnny Dickhead down the road to give me shit about mental health. So I don't give a fuck. It's not about Karen to fucking pop up on Facebook to go, you hear about fucking Sean Thompson? He's trying to live. I don't care. I'm doing it because I love it. That's why I'm doing it. And if I can help one person other than myself, brilliant. If I can stop one person tying a noose around their neck, brilliant. If I can show my daughters that it's okay to stop and talk and understand what is going on within the mind, even better. You know, I've got brilliant people out there that care about me, that care about this podcast, that want the podcast to succeed. And it's a fucking brilliant effort, emotion, realness, and genuinely the best thing that I have ever done, bar getting married and having my kids. I talk about the military like I'm still in it, because in the past that's what I was holding on to, and I still believe that was the best job I've ever done. But that's now in the past. That's something I can look back on with pride. And now I can look into the future and think this could be something huge. And for me, that's exciting. That is fucking brilliant. And having guests on like fucking Mason Jones, Jack Shaw, UFC fighter, even Little Brown, Darren Thompson, my brother, my best friend. You know, just having a chat with him, talking to shit. I love it. I could have fucking Johnny Dickhead on the fucking show for a chat and it would be brilliant. I don't need the notoriety of a Joe Rogan. I don't need it. I don't need to be the British Joe Rogan, because I'm the one and only Sean Tommo Thompson. And this is the Granite Zero podcast, and we are different than any other podcast. Because we are real, we are unedited, we're gritty. I talk about things that nobody else wants to talk about. The stigma that's in here. The stigma behind people that wear things like this. The uniform. And I even just sit there and have a fucking chat and discuss difficult topics just because. I sit there and have a glass of whiskey, smoke a cigar, have a fucking bottle of beer. Because I can. It's my show. It's what I want to do. If this was my full-time job, I would fucking be ecstatic. But it's not. This is more than just my full-time job. This is my passion. This is my hobby. This is my fucking outlet to you guys. And to you guys, I say cheers. To anybody that watches this mini documentary about Granite Zero, about me, thank you very much. To those of you that listen, subscribe, share, or have been guests on the show, thank you very much. We're on a fucking journey, guys. And I fucking love it. Cheers. Now let's light up a cigar and get out of here. This is my story. This is my journal. This is my journey. I'm grateful and thankful for everybody that's a part of it. This is only the beginning. This isn't the end. It's time to keep moving forward, keep recording episodes, and just enjoy every single moment of this journey. And thank you for everybody that's been part of the Granite Zero podcast.